Live from Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Zach Ballinger Show, where we help you find your direction through passion and purpose. My name is Zach Ballinger. I am your host. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are streaming via YouTube. So if you are on that channel and if you have any questions for me or my special guest, please feel free to enter them into the comment section. We'll get to them, as well as you guys can always email me at zach@zachballinger.com and ask those to our guests, and we'll take those live. So without further ado, Danielle, thank you so much for joining the show today.
My pleasure.
So let's jump right in here. What is your exact occupation, your title? What do you do career-wise?
I'm a choreographer. I'm an artist that specializing in creating dance, producing performances, igniting both educational goals when it comes to dancers, and refining constantly the idea of culture and community when audience and performers want to meet, considering that all the time. Yeah, that's kind of what keeps me busy, all of those things.
So let's say you're a student out there and you hear this word choreography. What does that mean exactly?
A choreographer creates content and shape, composition, and an offer basically for a viewer. So you're working with dancers and you're deciding what, when, how, and I think the most important is why. We will do a scene or a performance the way we will do it, and then as well, usually if I'm the director of that moment, which I usually do at the same time, I will choose the setting, the timing, the framing, the costuming, the lighting, and of this piece, of this creation.
Awesome. And how many years have you been doing this particular career field?
Well, I started choreographing when I was 12 and taking it actually seriously even through high school. Every year, making up a little show. I would say that since the age of 19, I've been active in the international, in the international field, and presenting my work in galleries, museums, and stages throughout the world.
So what do you love most about your job? What are you passionate about?
Well, I love how I can keep it fresh. It's every day I could reinvent my ways, and on one end, it makes you chase constantly a new sensation and a new idea, but on the other end, you feel quite free because even if you had a great idea a month ago, you can reconsider that and develop. And I think that vibe and that spirit in my studio helps a lot of people feel renewed and inspired. And a lot of audience members stay curious and come again to re-experience things we all know, but we can experience them differently. So I love how fresh and alive my job is.
Awesome. And, on the flip side of that, some of the difficulties that people should know about your particular career, or some of the things you may not like, or anything along that avenue.
Well, I grew up in the Middle East and in a more European influenced country, Israel. And that being said, it means that the arts in general, in comparison to the United States, is just more of a pillar in the society, versus shopping in Hollywood. So with all due respect to consumption that keeps us also fresh and eager, and Hollywood that keeps us maybe dreaming and wondering, the art creates a space for discussion and for a debate. And as we can see, the country is suffering from lack of tools to come and meet and talk and engage in a normal, humane, old-fashioned way. And I think that when I came here, I came with this mission of sharing how we do it somewhere else, and now I'm an American citizen, and I keep this struggle of convincing people that live performance and meeting people face to face in the same room is one of the scariest things, but the most important skills that we should fight for. And it is a struggle because the country doesn't have funding set up in the range that is needed, as well as schools, and from elementary schools through colleges, that only in the last few years trying to kind of respect the arts little by little more. And therefore, financially, it's a scary mission to be an artist in America, because you have to rely on individual support, donors, grants, and ticket sale is a privilege. It's very tricky and shaky. So your passion has to sustain, even though and despite the fact that marketing and consumption of the arts in America is tricky, is the lowest, is 1%. It's the 1%, another kind of 1% that is consuming the art and dance especially.
It's a great answer. And so, walk us through your typical day. Let's say, I know everybody says their day changes and mine does too, but if you had to walk us through a typical day, you get up out of the bed in the morning and then you go to night. What does your day look like for you in your career?
Yeah, I wake up in the morning 90% of the time really happy because I am excited. And I take my dog out for a long walk, so I get a lot of natural visuals in the street. I usually don't take my phone with me for that walk. And then I come back, have a healthy breakfast, and I start the day either with going to the studio, where I immediately teach or take class. Class is the time where I really refine my muscles and my flexibility, and also the connection of my sensations to my brain. And I already start in that moment to practice having ideas about movement, having ideas about people around me, having ideas about musicality and shape. And then I start with my dancers. I have 10 dancers in my company to do rehearsals, which means reconsidering, reconfiguring, casting, teaching, constantly paying attention, basically. So it's going to be around 5 to 6 hours a day that I spend with other people in the studio, and we exchange ideas through the body, and also rhetorical conversation about artistic ideas and physical ideas.
Now, let's say somebody's out there, they're an entry-level professional and they've always thought about this as a career. Is there any education or certifications you would recommend, either an entry-level professional or a student?
Yeah, I think that it's important to experience as many dance forms as you can. I think you should have your technique. I think you should touch on ballet. Nothing is mandatory, but I think experiencing and knowing what you don't like and why you don't like it after giving it a fair chance is important. I would touch on improvisation and things that free your mind and challenge your coordination. I would touch on anything from Latin dances to jazz to hip hop, because you need to find what your groove is, what is hiding inside, and what is feeding something natural in you, and not just education. It's nice to layer those things, the things you like to do, enjoy to do, versus the things that challenge you and want to make you skilled in new ways, maybe not the ways you were born to move. And in that combination, I think the most important thing is to rely on your instinct. You need to sharpen your instinct that in a way that can tell you, what do you want to be busy with? And it's not where you usually make the money, But I think it's okay as a professional dancer and an artist in America to have two avenues: the avenue where you make money, which could be related to your art, or sometimes ideally not related to your art. So your art stays the freeing part, the happy part, and the endless part. Um, and some lucky people can combine those things, and you have to believe you can combine the things so you can stay creative and impulsive and lead yourself and others into the unknown, but with passion and confidence.
And let's rewind your life, take you back to you're in school, you're a little girl, and you dreamed of this career. Do you remember what you dreamed of always being, or what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I really wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a surgeon. And um, I was a very hardworking student. I loved biology, mathematics, English. I taught myself English. It's not my mother tongue. I was getting ready for a very academic life, basically. At the age of 16, I was also going to drop my art high school, and I got accepted to a high school in Jerusalem that was supposed to prepare me better for the army and for the academia after that. And one conversation with my mother that was as simple as, you're going to study your whole life, so dance 3 more years, nothing's going to happen. And then my life changed. I danced 2 more years, and I did an audition to a very big company in Israel, Batsheva Dance Company, and I was accepted when I was 17. Decided not to do the military service, and basically devote my life to dance and to dancers. So I wasn't dreaming that, but I was really good at that. And I managed to break that myth back then. I remember my ballet teacher telling me, you shouldn't be a dancer, you're very smart. And it felt like really, a compliment, but what does it say about dance? And I feel that the studio that I'm running and the dance life that I'm running are very tuned into deeper thinking and highlighting how intelligent dancers could be and should be and want to be treated as intelligent creatures. So I think we have to admit that they are actually up high in the level of coordination and creativity and generosity and discipline that like any fine athlete, and even more because they have the ability to be abstract and concrete at the same time. I think that is so important to respect dancers and respect dance, and that kind of I fell in love with it, and it takes me over. My sister is doing the medical stuff, and my brother is doing the accounting stuff, and I stayed an artist, and I'm happy about it.
That brings up a good point. You talked about, how art is, kind of in the United States, people don't see it as like a career path. And how did that conversation look like to your family? A lot of times I hear students who say, they want to do something that's artistic or in the arts community, whether that's acting or any dancing, whatever they want to do, but they're often met with a lot of stigma at first. Like their parents are very, wait a minute. Can you talk to me? How was your friends and your family around you? Were they supportive, or how
You
did that
know,
work?
I think that the world is cruel that way. And I tell you what they told me, and I do pay my therapist, thousands of dollars currently, but I'm still living a really happy life. So I think my father used to say, go do whatever you want as long as you're the best at it. So I think that you can combine those things. I am lucky to be gifted in dance, and I am able to say that I never had another job in my life. And since the age of 17, I was completely sufficient on my own. I am not supported by my parents since the age of 17. And I have a good financial stability on my own. I'm also a single woman. And I can say I own my life, financially, through my art. So I am proud of it, and I work really hard for that independency. But that sentence of go do whatever you want, but be the best at it, will promise you financial stability because you'll be leading in your field. So that doesn't mean that the art cannot be a passionate, important hobby in your life. So even if you can't monetize on it and make it the spine of your income, it doesn't mean you don't have to respect your need to dance. That's why I'm saying some of us can be 100% career and passion combined, but it doesn't mean anything about the importance of dance in your life if you want to dance every day and you don't make money off of it, and you still find another way to make the money. So not like my father, I would say, even if you're not the best at it and you want to do it, but have the right expectations. So you'll need to find your income maybe in another way.
I love it because you're so right. First of all, when I talk about things, I love to sing Christmas music, for example, but after 10 seconds, people would probably scream at me or throw stuff at me because I can't sing. But
Send me a record. I would like to do
so
something
I
on that.
know I like to do that, but I'm not good at it. And so I can never be a professional singer. Same way I always want to be a professional basketball player, but I'm 6 feet tall and I can only jump 2 inches. So that doesn't line up. I think what you're saying is you have to have both the talent, the innate ability, the gift. You have to develop that over time, and then you have to see if you can monetize it in the marketplace. And what I loved about what you said too is, and this is what I get really passionate about, you can have hobbies. It's okay. So let's say I don't end up making money on dancing or whatever I end up doing. It's still important to have a hobbies in your life, and that can lead you to other opportunities with networking, other just so many different things you can do. So I'm really glad you touched on those important things.
Yeah, I would even add that those hobbies, especially, I will talk about physical hobbies that if you volleyball or you're doing your um, any gymnastics and dance professionally, you really, really help yourself to be happier. You really need to carve that time in your schedule, no matter if you're going to be a surgeon or you're going to be, a librarian, whatever you're going to be, you need to have some time for your body. And I think dancers in college and high school, keep dancing. Find a way to keep dancing, because you're just going to be a better person if you keep dancing. It's going to make you more creative at your whatever job. It's going to make you in shape, and therefore healthier and happier. So just in that age of 20 to 25, you guys, you need to learn, go out there and experience and learn if it's going to be a hobby or if it's going to be your life, and make that decision and honor that decision. It just means that not all of us are born the same, and that's beautiful, because we need many kinds of talents and many kinds of disciplines and personalities around us, and we just have to find our channel.
What would you contribute your career success to?
Well, my mentor, Ohad Naharin, I think revolutionized dance for the rest of us, for the rest of times, and I was very lucky to be under his wing from a very young age, and I'm considered a master of his method. And he pushed me forward when I was 25 to get out from Israel, go to New York, and bring his method to America, which opened a lot of doors for me. And I constantly continue developing what I learned, meaning that I'm also very independent after his mentorship. So I would say that he had an integral effect and and also it's almost like kind of seasoning. I learned from him a lot about management, being a leader, being a creator, and I had room to add my female perspective and my cultural flavors. We come from different Jewish cultures. I come more from the African Jewish methods versus he's coming from the European methods, and I think the mix between those worlds and having the okay to mix between those worlds just made my toolbox very wide. So I definitely owe him a big love. Yeah.
That's a new chapter in my book is how mentors play an important part in discovering your passion and finding your purpose, because a lot of times these mentors are experienced professionals that have been in careers before we've even done them. We can pick their brain, we can spend time with them, we can ask them questions, we can learn from them, and we can even give them ideas too. So I'm glad you touched on that. I did want to get to some of these questions that came in because we did have a few. A student writes in, I'm in color guard, and this is a career that I want to continue. I'm not sure if you're familiar with color guard in the United States. It's like a dance. I think it's more. Of course, I'm the wrong person to be asking this, but it's more like dancing, cheerleading type stuff that they do in high school.
Yeah.
So they're interested in staying in that career field. What advice would you give them?
Well, have a very healthy diet, because your joints and your muscles really need all the strengthening from inside. I would avoid anything that drains the body, any kind of substance that will hurt your health. Yeah, I think I saw on online crazy shows about those cheerleaders and how hard it is to sustain that lifestyle. For longevity, people, you have to have a bit of perspective of how much your body can handle, so push it, not to the limit, push it, but avoid the limit, and so you can push it again tomorrow and again for years. And that's where I think we need to be careful from ambition and the mentality of winning, because that's America. We're supposed to win, but what are we winning the day after it's over and the house is empty? We're not winning anything. We want the longevity of things. So even when it's so much about the highest jump, the most amazing pyramid, the hardest kick, I would tone it down a little bit in order to keep it happy and healthy. And I think that's worth a lot. So look for an environment that understands that there is tomorrow. It's not about breaking your body today. It's about how you wake up tomorrow, and how you're going to have good memories from the day before. Because the higher the high is, the lower the low is. And I think just avoiding the tip of the top and the bottom of the bottom would be cool, actually. So stay healthy and strong, and teach yourself how to warm up in the deepest way, so the body can do a lot without putting it into shock. I think that's lacking in those fields.
Gotcha. Another person writes in, they want to be a professional dancer. First question is, where should they move and how should they get a job like this?
Well, everybody used to move to New York when they wanted to be a dancer. I would say a few things. Travel the world, go out of here to Europe and to Israel to see what's going on with dance, because America is not the leading country when it comes to dance, but it's catching up. It's catching up and it's hungry. And I think going out, getting perspective, and then maybe coming back in. Today, even Los Angeles is a very important dance city. New York is more of a Broadway kind of mentality for dance. So it depends which kind of dancer you want to be. because you have Vegas and New York offering professional dancers a very specific niche. It's less artistic and about research. It's more about boom, boom, boom and making money. So other cities like Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles would offer a combination of the commercial world and the artistic world, and they will have patience for that, and that's healthier for an artist. So you have to kind of, again, see what is it that you want to do. Do you want to do Lion King 8 times a week, or Sleep No More, or do you want to be in this more about being in the studio, taking care of the body and the mind, and being part of a community? So it's up to your personality. But those cities that I mentioned, yeah, they have an active scene. I'm taking summer and winter courses, summer and winter workshops all over the world is a very good way, and the country is a very good way to get to know who you are, basically.
Gotcha. And the next question is they write in that they want to have a career like you do in I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah.
Thank you. They want to have a career in that, but they say, where are these jobs? How do I apply for them? And apparently they're having a hard time finding these type of openings.
So it is more how you create your reality. So if you want to be a choreographer and you're experienced with it, you have to make sure you choreograph all the time. So gather people around you that want to be in the studio, and there are many people like that enjoy that, and choreograph, and your experience will tell you what to do. It will tell you what to film. It will tell you what to submit. Try to apply for grants. Try to be recognized by places like MAP and NEFA in New England, and all of those Princess Grace Awards, and all of those foundations that come to find the next talent. And you just have to be extremely active, because nobody taught me to choreograph. Nobody teaches anyone how to choreograph. You teach yourself to choreograph by choreographing. So just stay busy and be in the lookout for, the commercial options that are looking for choreographers, agents, and especially if you're living in Los Angeles. And the other aspect is be active in your school, be active with your friends, be active with your dancer friends, and make work. And you will be recognized, you will be discovered if you'll be busy.
Absolutely. Great advice. So let's say somebody's out there listening, they want to follow your work. Where's the best place they can find you? Is it social media, website? What is it?
We have a website, 89online.com, and we are active on social media. I am not personally, so I think maybe 89.
Yeah, no, we'll link it to the page. Yeah.
But I don't spend time on social media in order to stay free and creative. But we are there, and we have constant programs for young students to come and visit our studio. Because of the pandemic, I even exaggerated that, and I did every month a workshop for people that now throughout the country don't have where to dance, and they can come to us and dance in. So we keep social distancing, and we're dancing with the masks, but we have a very large studio with a very small group of people that continue researching, and we've been healthy and happy throughout this whole time. There's always a creative way to stay connected to dance, and we offer that for sure.
That's amazing. So yeah, I'll definitely post a link to this when we get done. I want to thank you so much for coming on, explaining your career. This has truly been fascinating for me to learn. I know people out there listening, they've really enjoyed you coming on and sharing your story. It's been absolutely amazing. We know you're very busy, and we do appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Stay optimistic, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a great